Sorry about that. My mic was muted. What is up, YouTube? Dolly back in the house again tonight, and we're going to be talking about the devastating attack that happened on the church in Michigan. Okay, I don't know what is going on in these past couple days with these mass shootings that are taking place, especially coming from former military vets. Just last night, we were talking about the one where the dude was on a boat and what was it, North Carolina? Or was it South Carolina? I can't even remember. But he was at like the American Fish Company and he just opened fire, killing multiple people, injuring others. And then the following morning, bam, another attack, but this time an attack on a church. What is with the senseless violence? But before we get into all that and what happened and the latest news, make sure you leave your DNA on the like button. Yes, it was North Carolina. Okay, I couldn't remember if it was North Carolina or South Carolina that the shooting yesterday took place. Well, make sure you leave your DNA, your fingerprints all over that like button just in case you go missing and Dolly got to come search for you. And of course, if you're brand new and haven't subbed up the channel yet, sub up the channel, help us hit 81,000, and feel free to share my ugly face everywhere. So we're going to jump right into some videos tonight. And so I can show you guys what took place. This church, basically the man drove a pickup truck into the church when people thought he was injured because they thought it was an accident inside the church, that somebody had accidentally drove into the church. So people were running outside to help what they thought was a driver who hit the church. And this man gets out the vehicle, opens fire, and then sets the building on fire, and the building burns completely to the damn ground, right? He was shot and killed. The shooter is dead. People, a lot of injuries in this one. A lot of people rushed to the hospital. 4 people confirmed dead. Let's jump right into it.
And topping national news, the FBI is investigating a targeted act of violence at a church in Michigan. There, a man opened fire before setting the building on fire as well. In all, 5 people were killed, including the gunman, while 8 others were injured. Roop Raj, the evening anchor at our Fox affiliate in Detroit, has been reporting from the scene all day and is joining us live tonight. And Roop, this has been a tragic day for your state.
It certainly has. We're coming to you from about an hour away from Detroit and about 20 minutes away from Flint. So we're just kind of in between the two cities, if you will. And in this small town of Grand Blanc, Michigan, about 400 yards away, there's a church that, of course, you've been showing pictures of all day long, and the whole country, the whole world has been watching. Inside of this Church of Latter-day Saints, there were parishioners who were there starting the morning off, presumably about 12 hours ago, expecting a nice day of calm prayer, when suddenly they heard a big bang. And it was that bang that was actually the pickup truck that slammed into the front of this church. And when that happened, apparently people thought, okay, maybe someone had a medical emergency.
Yes, I do keep fire extinguishers in my travel trailer just in case something happens. I mean, that's not for a big fire like this, but if something happens with my vehicle, yes, I do have a fire extinguisher in my travel trailer.
Some people started running outside the church to see what had happened. And when they ran out, this man, Thomas Sanford, investigators say, came out and just started spraying bullets in the parking lot. He was killed there in the parking lot, but not before shooting 10 people inside the church or right outside the church in the parking lot as well, and also setting fire to the entire church. And when he did that, there were so many people who, of course, were trying to get out. They were actually covering children and older people with their bodies, trying to take care of those who are more vulnerable around them. And as they did that, the fire then started, and it's unclear if there were explosives that were inside as well that may have caused the entire thing to then go up. Now, I can tell you right now that some of the people we spoke with, they say that the ones inside that building are, simply put, heroes.
It's very tragic, and that's not what our community is. I'm confident that we're going to overcome this, as Grand Blanc always overcomes these type of incidents. And also like to acknowledge the heroism of not only the first responders, but the first responders, but the first responders, 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 the first but the people who were inside that church at the time. They were shielding the children who were also present within the church, moving them to safety. Just hundreds of people just practicing their faith, just extreme courage, brave, and that's the type of community that we are.
Sadly, at this hour, we know that
Okay, you will be the first person to report this news live. No one has it. No replay says. What news do you have? No replays. We were just talking about this last night, that you got to be careful in all your surroundings. There's a lot it will be out in the morning because I sent it to some others, but you are live, so let's win it. Okay, what do you have? What is going on that you have that's newsworthy? But anyway, like I said, you have to be aware of your surroundings. We seen this with the people that were at the bar last night celebrating on the water. A guy, military vet that had some mental illness. He basically had signs of schizophrenia from the latest update, and he opened fire, killing at least 4 people last night and injuring a bunch of others. Some of them people had to be airlifted to the hospital. And as soon as I woke up this morning, I was told about this shooting. And PJ told me, he said, Dolly, somebody done went up into a church and then shot a bunch of people. And I was thinking, man, this is like back-to-back mass shootings. And we've been having a lot of that. It seems like it started off with this Charlie Kirk stuff with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And then it's just like, I don't know if it's the change of the weather and people are just starting to act crazy or what it is. The shooter was arrested in 2013 for 2 counts of child. Okay. All right. I didn't know that. A lot of people gone insane, right? Yes, they have gone insane. This is just like the 2 Marine vets from NOLA and Vegas Hotel. Well, I don't know what it is. We were talking about PTSD last night with Dr. Latina when she was in the chat room. And, these people, they're not criminally insane if they planned this and if they had enough intelligence to plan this. Like he had, drove it into the building, let people run out, shoot those people, then set the building on fire. That don't sound like the mind of somebody criminally insane. Well, in this case, we don't even have to worry about because the shooter's dead. But far as yesterday and the guy that was at the fish company, which is basically it's a bar, but that's just the name of it because it's on the water. This man, served in the military and he definitely had some mental illness with him. But the same thing, he sat across from the bar, he waited, he started to shoot into the bar, he took off, he tried to avoid. So at that point, he knew what he was doing was wrong. Usually when you're criminally insane, you don't realize at the time what you're doing is wrong, right? So I think these people are not criminally insane. They're just crazy. And we really don't take mental health super serious in our country. And we're going to be seeing more and more of this as these vets snap and lose their minds.
Inside of that church, there are people that weren't able to make it out. And at this point, this is a recovery mission inside of that church as those firefighters and the ATF agents and others go in there looking for anybody who may have been left behind. In the meantime, I ran into about 40 to 60 parishioners who were outside of the church who were waiting to basically get their cars. They were here this morning and they were escorted one by one inside, given to show their keys, and then they had to go to their cars, and the FBI escorted them out car by car as each of them came in and then left. That was the last time we saw everyday civilians in this area. Now it's all investigators who are looking at a terrible crime scene here in Grand Blanc, Michigan. Reporting from Grand Blanc, Roop Raj. Now back over to you.
And Roop, if I may ask a quick question, the suspect, is much known about him and whether or not he had any connection to this church?
At this point, it doesn't appear from any.
I think the shooter in this case is Thomas Sanford, and the shooter last night was something Neal. but both different military vets, back-to-back shootings. And this is just like where you go somewhere, you really need to keep your head on a swivel and be aware of your surroundings. And if you see something like this, immediately take cover. People are just insane.
Anyone that we spoke with, both members of the church or others, that he had some connection to the church. However, that has not yet been completely confirmed yet. We know that he had, as you may have seen some of the pictures, 2 very large American flags. Apparently, according to some neighbors, he's a veteran of the Iraq War. It's not clear exactly what contributed to his anger, his hatred, and ultimately the violence that caused what happened here behind us today.
All right, Rupraj live in Grand Blanc tonight, Michigan, just outside of Detroit and Flint. All right, thank you for that live report. And a second tragic mass shooting happening at a crowded waterfront restaurant in the coastal town of Southport, North Carolina last night. A man on a boat pulled up to the restaurant, opened fire, killing 3 and injuring 5 before speeding away. Police say it was a planned attack.
We believe that this was a targeted location. We appear that he acted in what we call a lone wolf. He acted alone. This is highly premeditated from what we're seeing at this time. And we feel there are no other threats to our community, that we do have someone.
Well, the suspect identified.
So they do have him in custody. They did not kill him. The assailant today, Thomas, I believe it's Sanford, he was shot and killed outside of the church.
As 40-year-old Nigel Edge, arrested by the U.S. Coast Guard shortly after that shooting. He's scheduled to make a first court appearance tomorrow.
All right. So that's what I'm saying. People are going insane and they're doing the most outlandish stuff. It's just unbelievable. Now, let me kick into this next video.
And the scope of this is still hard to comprehend. Shortly after we learned about this, we sent somebody down there. We were able to speak with somebody at the scene who actually survived the mass shooting, and they're giving us their firsthand perspective. Take a listen to that.
And you were shot today.
Shot at. Luckily, yeah, the windshield. This is just shrapnel from the windshield that was as he shot at our car as we were trying to drive away.
And that's your car, the purple one?
Yeah, the maroon Flex. Yeah. I
got a picture of it, or a little video of it.
Yeah.
Tell me what was going through your head as that kind of was transpiring.
Honestly, get my wife away and then find my son.
So your son wasn't with you. Do you know where he was?
Sorry, that makes me want to more. He was in another vehicle. We were on the phone with him. He was ducked down in another vehicle trying to just lay low.
And you ended up getting in contact with him, and he was okay.
We were actually on the phone with him when the shooter came out the door.
Sam, I'm not for sure if they caught the hoaxer in Florida, the young man that said he was kidnapped. He made a report that he was shot and 4 Latino gentlemen pulled him into a van. So they had a massive manhunt and Amber Alert that went out statewide through Florida. And basically the kid had went into a Walmart prior to that and bought a bike. So he left his vehicle on the side of the road, got on a bike and pedaled off. But he sent his mother a message that said, "I need help. I've been shot. 4 Mexicans in a white van." So they put out a crazy Amber Alert nationwide search for this white van and 4 Mexicans, and it was basically a hoax. So now I don't know. I'm not sure if they caught the young man or not yet, because it was said that he bought a bike from Walmart, a sleeping bag, and a tent. So I don't know if they have found him yet, but there was video of him walking down the street after he reported this kidnapping, and he was by himself. So there was no kidnapper. So of course the police know now it's a hoax, and he was really no more than a runaway teen.
And then that's when I just put pedal to the metal to try to get out, and that's when he started shooting at our vehicle, and that's
Okay, he was
saw there.
found.
And
Okay.
tell me what led up, like what did you see leading up to your windshield kind of exploding or the bullet
so
coming
church
through?
had started at 10 o'clock. We had our opening.
You know, when they found that kid, they should have locked him up for all that trouble he caused and putting out that fake Amber Alert and just the hoax itself. Was he criminally charged with anything? I know he was 17 years old.
Congregational hymn. We were getting ready to take the sacrament, and we heard a just a loud bang. And then we saw that the front wall, so the front part of the...
Becky, on the Tita was on the show last night. If you go back and watch last night's video, he was in like the first half hour of the show last night until his nurse came in. So I've already spoke with Onatita. Now, we'll probably be doing something else together. So I just got to get a hold of him. So that's in the future. Just keep an ear out.
The chapel, the wall was cracked. And so we at first figured somebody accidentally had done something. So we started rushing out to go help. And then as soon as I saw the American flags on the truck, and that it was on purpose, and somebody yelled that it was on purpose, I started trying to get people out of the area and away, to disperse away.
And I guess how soon, like from you getting injured, did you realize that you were getting shot at? Like, did all that happen first and then you got shot at?
No. So yeah, all of that happened first.
Okay.
And then I was kind of trying to gather people, trying to find my wife. I ended up finding my wife, and then we went to our vehicle. We called our son, found out he was in another car. I was trying to go to get to that car so that I could get him in the vehicle. There were some elderly ladies and some sisters in our ward that are in our congregation that we brought into our vehicle so that they can't run very fast, and so we just wanted to make sure that they were safe. As soon as I saw the door open with the shooter and with his rifle, that's when I tried to drive away, and that's when he shot at us. And so there was multiple shots, probably a few dozen before that even happened. I didn't see anybody else get shot. I'm aware, from what I know, there are people that were shot, and some that, at least one that I know of that was killed.
And kind of in the aftermath, in this point you're at right now, what's going through your head right now?
Just confusion. It's you want to make sense of these things, you never will. It's a mental illness, I'm assuming. It really can't be anything else. So there's really not a way for us to, over the next few days, people are going to say, oh, it's because of this and because of that and because of this. And the reality is, it's just, I'm sure it was just some individual who was sick in the head. None of us recognized this guy. He came in with camel pants and an assault rifle, and
and
confusion and just sad,
and
relief that my family's okay, but sad for those that might not be.
I mean, and you did see a lot of people, or we saw a lot of people exiting, so a lot of you guys did, were able to make it out. What do you say to the group effort to get everyone out safely?
I'd say the police came very quickly, faster than I would have expected, which is great. So I'm very grateful for their presence, their ability to come and help. I think, I'm sure in the future we're going to start figuring out protocol in churches what to do with this kind of thing. And even though we really shouldn't have to, that should not be something
of course, this ain't the first church that people have been shot up. I mean, people tend to target these, I hate to say it, like churches, anywhere there's a lot of people, right? The scariest thing is, when people go towards where our kids' learning facilities. I don't even like to say it up here, but a lot of these monsters, they want to hurt the innocent people. Like, I don't know what his problem was with the church. And to be a U.S. vet, Usually vets love the country, they love God, you know, that type of thing. But to go attack a church that you have no problem with or has never done anything to you and just hurt innocent people, you know, definitely somebody that is sick in the head. And this is it's called a soft target. Yes, absolutely. Is we really need to take our mental health serious in these countries. And once you're in the military and you serve in a war, even when you're out of the military, there should still be follow-up visits by psychiatrists. You know, I think it should be mandated, because a lot of these people, they go into the war and they see all this trauma, and next thing you know, they're out of the military and they don't have that help. And like we talked about the VA last night, because the last dude was a vet too, and he was borderline schizophrenic. And we had a doctor that called in that did her residency at the VA in South Carolina, and she said it was basically terrible. You know, they don't take very good care of these vets, which is terrible, because then, you know, if they're not taken care of, they get a little crazier and a little crazier and a little crazier, and then they end up doing something like what we've seen happen yesterday and early this morning. Well, technically, the fish market was 2 days ago, and this was 1 day ago, because I was busy today. So I'm talking about it kind of late. So this ain't like breaking news, because it's a little late for me. But some of the new details that are coming out are breaking news.
You have to be afraid of when you go to worship.
Yeah, and I guess that's my last question that I can think of right now is, like you said, churches around, you know.
This is funny, Dolly. When you bringing back the rap battles? Never bringing back the rap battles. That's old school Jams TV days. Different channel. We're on a different channel. That was the old channel. We do true crime here, and you know, some other stuff, but mostly true crime.
This has happened around the country several times, and you know, churches, you know, in a group, you know, it has happened to churches, but you know, schools, businesses. There was a stabbing in Walmart in Traverse City. What do you kind of say to all of that?
I don't know.
Are you folks members of the Jehovah's Witness Church at all?
I don't know. I think I have to kind of wrap my head around this a little bit.
Okay. So this lady, this ain't a lady, it's a man.
Paula was in that vehicle. You were in that car when the shooting happened. You were inside the church.
I was inside the church.
You were inside the church. So walk me through what happened.
Okay, we went to church. We sat down. We had just gotten done with our sacrament, the sacrament portion of our meeting. One of our counselors was up speaking, and we heard a big bang and the doors blew. And then everybody rushed out. And we went through the church and out through the parking lot. They were trying to get us down to the lake. But the lady that I was trying to help out, she couldn't make it that far. So we got us back up in the parking lot and got us into the Taylor's car. When we got in the cars and we flipped around, and that's when the shooter started shooting at the car. And Brother Taylor is fine. It hit his hand. And then we got over there and we came here, and these nice people let us in, and we've been here since.
I'm so sorry for you to experience something like that. Words will never be enough to tell you how scary of a situation this was. 10:30, this unfolded. When you heard the loud bang, when you heard the gunshots, what was going through your mind at that point in time?
Surreal. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was going on, and I didn't know if we were going to have to get down, because we couldn't see anybody. You know, we couldn't see. So I'm not sure if he came in the building or not, because he was outside, you know, obviously when we, so, but it was just scary. I mean, we were.
Well, what we do know was he was shot and killed in the parking lot. Now, at some point, he set the church on fire. Now, this church went up like Waco, for you guys that are a little bit older. Remember the Branch Davidians when they drove the tanks into the church? Now, some people say that the churchgoers set the church on fire, but you can clearly see in a lot of videos that a tank punctured the wall where a gas line was. Not only that, they had a bunker in the building in Waco that they let the kids go into, but the tanks, when they drove over the bunker, the wall collapsed inside the bunker. So once the building caught on fire, the kids couldn't escape. They were trapped in the bunker underneath the kitchen. So just terrible. But this, we watched it, Waco go up, in just a matter of a few minutes, that whole building was engulfed in flames. And I remember when it happened, and I just couldn't believe it that nobody ran out that building, because we were waiting like, okay, any minute we're going to see people start running out, and nobody ran out. Thank God that these people, he hit the building, which made everybody evacuate the building. And then he set the building on fire. So it gave people time to get out the building. And said, what if he would have just went up there and, possibly lit the building up and then wait, and then I don't want to give anybody any plans of how to hurt people, but if he would have done it a different way, it's possible he could hurt even more people, and it's hard to stop a madman that has intent on hurting people. And I don't want to be like, it ain't much, because every life on this planet matters. Okay, so there was people that did an interview earlier where a guy said he talked to the shooter a couple of days ago, and he was talking about how he thought all Mormons were the Antichrist. Now, me, myself, I'm not a Mormon, and I have different beliefs than the Mormon beliefs. But listen, I don't hate on anybody for their religion, even if you was a Satanist, okay? If you're a Satanist in this country, I don't hate you. You have the right to be a Satanist all you want, okay? I'm not going to go try to hurt you or anything like that. I don't have no problem with you. You have the right to your religion in this country we live in, right? A lot of people do believe that Mormons are a cult. Now, I believe whatever you like. If you want to believe something, you have the right to believe that, right? I believe truly you do. And I have no problem with whatever religion you are in this world, okay? I don't want you to, here's one problem I do have with people, and I'll blow the screen up for a second. I don't want you to push your religion on me, okay? Now, you have the right to be whatever you want, believe whatever you want. That's between you and your God. What I got going on is between me and my God. I try not to push my religion on the people. I will talk about my religion, but I don't say, hey, come to church with me Sunday. You need to, I don't preach to people, right? I think your journey with your Lord and Savior or Satan is yours and yours alone, and you'll figure that out as you go. Now, when I see Mormons come knock on the door, I just don't answer. I get all quiet. Okay. I'm praying at that time. I can't make it to the door. Right. So, but listen, I don't hate anybody. Matter of fact, my daughter had a little friend that was Mormon. Okay. So Tiff, my daughter, asked me one day, can I go to church with my friend? And I was like, yeah. And then, of course, I took the little Mormon girl to church with me. Okay. And Tiff, Tiff went with her family, and then she came with us to our church. So they were the kids were jumping back and forth between churches, whatever parent, and but my daughter didn't know who Joseph Smith was, right? Because, if you got to know a little bit of, I guess, about the religion and how the religion was formed, and so and so. So I've never really had a problem with people that are Mormon. If you believe it, it's just like believing in Jesus. It's a story, and you choose to believe it and have faith, or you don't. But if it's a message of good, like I tell people in that go to just a regular church, because I I grew up Southern Baptist, right? That even if you don't believe in Jesus and stuff like that, the Bible is a good book of morals and values that you should, even if you don't believe what the Bible says, the morals and values, be a good person, treat your, don't covet your brother's wife. Just the basic things that the Bible say are good things, and it won't hurt you to have a little bit of goodness in your life. You know what I'm saying? So don't never hate nobody for what they believe, because sometimes people look at Madonna. Remember Madonna, the singer? She's been every religion you can humanly think of, to Hindu, to Buddhist, to damn, you name it. Some people really have to find their religion, right? And I don't really think it should be forced on the people. Jehovah's Witness knock on doors in my neighborhood. Yeah, Jehovah's Witness, Mormons, sometimes you get some Christian people that'll knock on your door. I duck them all, right? I duck them all. Listen, I don't need you to come preach to me at the door. I get it. A lot of times we believe the same things, right? I just don't really like to be disturbed. Nothing personal.
I came to worship my Savior Jesus Christ, and I didn't expect this to happen. Of course, it has. It's, and I've lost friends in there.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
And some of my little primary children that I teach on Sundays were hurt.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
So it's very devastating for me. I'm glad that I'm all right, and Brother Taylor and the people that are okay got it out okay. But I mourn for the people who lost loved ones and whose loved ones are hurt.
We all pray for the families and the victims impacted in this. Can you tell me, was there security at the church?
I'm not sure what the question is. You mean,
do you have security at the church? No. So there's no security at the church. Are you hearing about, was the suspect a parishioner or someone completely unknown?
I don't know who he was. I don't know if he was a parishioner. None of us know.
Okay.
We always know, and we don't just know that he's deceased, but we don't know.
Now, I haven't been to church in quite some time. I probably need to get my butt up in there, but the church I go to is televised. Okay. And it is loaded with police, not security. Police, Virginia Beach police. They're at the doors. They're inside the church. I don't know if the church hires them. I'm sure they do. You know how police, when they get off, they do some security details, but they show up in their uniforms because they have police directing traffic at the church. They got police at the doors when you go through, and every door has like I don't know if it's a security person or more of a greeter, like, hey, how you doing? God bless you kind of dude that stands at the door. But that's every door at the church. So the church that I go to here in Virginia Beach, it's pretty secure. Like if you was to, try to walk through them doors with a weapon, I don't think you would make it you may make it into the lobby of the outside of it, but I doubt you would make it into the church before you were confronted by armed law enforcement.
Paula, obviously,
I hope it wasn't a parishioner, but
looking at this situation right now, we're looking at, multiple law enforcement agencies over here, multiple fire departments, first responders. What are you seeing right now?
Devastation. Oh. Charity, I'm on TV. I got to go. I'll call you right back.
So
that was a family.
It's totally understand. I can understand family is really concerned right now. But
I'm the mother.
So once again, you were telling me you see devastation right now.
Yeah, our church is gone. I joined the church 38 years ago in that building, and now it's gone. 38 years in that church, and it's gone.
I was told that there were about 150 parishioners in there at the time.
Oh, easy. Men, women, and children, yes. Yes. and it's devastating to know that I lost friends, and it's just to see somebody would do this to my church.
I also believe that you're cordoned off right now, just like myself. We can't really leave this area. I just also want to show to our viewers and back in the studio that we are kind of cordoned off by law enforcement over here, so you can't get back anywhere. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself? At what time did you get here this morning? Where did you come from? And where are you trying to go at this point in time?
Well, I live in Fenton, but I pick up my friend Rose here in Grand Blanc, off of in Thornridge Apartments. We got to the parking lot at 9:33, like I used to do. Went into the church at 9:40, and then sit and talk to my friends and stuff. And then church started, and we went through the service. We sang our songs, and it's just devastating. I mean, everything was going well. We were worshiping our Savior Jesus Christ, and then this happens. But it's not shaking my faith. It's I don't know what happened, and I don't know why, and probably never will.
Okay. Now, Jesus says you need to forgive that man, right? You need to forgive him. That is the Christian way. He was a sick individual, and he needs prayers and forgiveness. Now, we spoke about this in the Charlie Kirk situation because we seen his wife basically go up there and say she forgave the shooter, right? And she is a better woman than me, because could I forgive somebody? I mean, I possibly could, but I think it would take a little more time now I know Jesus would want me to forgive that person, but it would take me a little more time, if ever, that I could forgive that person. I would just have to explain it to God and Jesus when I get there. I'd be like, look, dude's a monster, and I know we're supposed to love our fellow man and forgive our fellow man. That's understandable, but I don't look at monsters the same as I look at my fellow man. There's a line to me that you do not cross. You don't hurt children, and you don't kill people. You don't assassinate people. You don't plot and plan and kill people. And to me, now that's my line. Now I know Jesus got a different line in the sand, okay? But to me, I mean, if that's my worst sin in the world, is not forgiving somebody that is a monster, I think they might still let me in, okay? It's debatable. I'll be at the door arguing with the doorman at the Jesus gate. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I just don't know. I honestly don't. It's a lot.
Health was it?
All right, you're just listening into our Fox 2 teams. They are providing an update, and it looks like we are about to get underway in this shooting there at this LDS church in Grand Blanc, Michigan. Let's listen in live.
Names, I will step back up after the news conference and answer those questions. I'd like to introduce Chief William Renee from the Grand Blanc Township Police Department.
Thank you for joining us. As Lieutenant Vetter said, we will take a couple questions upon the conclusion of this press conference. With me here on the stage is Supervisor Scott Bennett, Fire Department Chief of Grand Blanc Township, Jamie Gent, DNR Chief, Jason Haynes, FBI Acting Special Agent in Charge, Ruben Coleman, and the ATF, James Deere, who is the special agent in charge for this area in Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, when you take God and the Bible, all the things, sometimes bad things happen, yeah, you take out God, and then school is, I just don't know. Times are a lot different right now in the world we live in. And I think the media is to blame for a lot of this stuff we see dividing our country, right? Erica Kirk is the strongest woman I've ever seen. Like I said, she's a stronger person than me because I don't, like I said, I don't know if I could do it. I mean, eventually one day I would probably forgive because I'm a pretty forgiving person. But like I said, when you're a monster, I don't forgive monsters. I don't. Like I'm the one of them people that believe in capital punishment. I'm one of those people that would pull the switch myself on you, or, you know, and not feel bad about it, because I don't, once you become a monster, I don't see you as a human being anymore. I see you as a monster. Serial killers, people that kill babies, stuff like that. You're a monster. And to me, in my heart, I just can't find a way to forgive monsters. It's just, I don't know. I'm just being truthful on that. Like, I can sit here and say, yeah, I forgive everybody, and, you know, you should forgive. But then I would just be lying to myself and lying to my viewers. I separate the two. Now, if you do something, you steal from me, or you do something bad to me, yes, I would forgive you. You murder my family, I'm not forgiving you. You know, I'm just not. I can't even lie and be like, yeah, I forgive them. Maybe, like I said, over a lot of time, I could probably start to forgive a little bit, but I would just lie if I said I did. I would. I'd be just lying to you.
I have a couple updates for you. There is a couple additional bodies that we've discovered in the church. So that makes our total victim count up to 4 victims. As I said before, there has already been the suspect who is deceased as well. So we have 5 deceased persons from this tragic incident.
That's with the shooter.
Again, our thoughts and prayers go out to the victims of this incident that could have been completely avoided. And it's very tragic, and that's not what our community is. I'm confident that we're going to
Yeah, I ain't saying that I would seek vengeance against you, right? Or revenge. You know, he who seeks revenge should dig 2 graves. I'm just saying I don't know if I could forgive you completely, 100% forgive you. Not that I would want to track you down and do something to you. I just don't know if I could forgive you.
overcome this, as Grand Blanc always overcomes these type of incidents. And also like to acknowledge the heroism of not only the first responders, but the people who were inside that church at the time. They were shielding the children who were also present within the church, moving them to safety. Just hundreds of people just practicing their faith. Just extreme courage, brave, and that's the type of community that we are. Law enforcement, again, we were on scene within 30 seconds from that original 911 call. Within 8 minutes, that suspect was neutralized in the back parking lot of the church by a DNR officer and a Grand Blanc Township officer. So where we're at right now, we're working tirelessly. We're working all night on this particular incident. I know that you guys have questions. It's not only this community, but it's nationwide, you know, all throughout the United States. So we're working hand in hand with our federal partners. So I'd like to introduce FBI Agent Ruben Coleman to you, who he will give you an update on where he's at within the federal investigation. Sir.
Thank you, Chief. My name is Ruben Coleman, and I am the acting special agent in charge of FBI Detroit Field Office, which covers the entire state of Michigan. First, I want to sincerely express our condolences to the victims of this shooting, their families, and this entire community. I would like to also thank Chief Rennie, the Grand Blanc Township Police Department, and all of our federal, state, and local law enforcement partners, other first responders, and the community members for their immediate actions in this situation. This act of violence has no place in our state or anywhere else in our country. The FBI is committed to continue finding out the facts, circumstances, and motives behind this tragedy. I can confirm at this time that the FBI is now leading the investigation and is investigating this as an act of targeted violence. FBI crisis response teams, such as our evidence response teams, SWAT, Special Agent Bomb Technicians, victim specialists were deployed to the scene. We also have special agents who are continuing to conduct interviews and intelligence and professional staff personnel providing research and analysis. I would like to thank them for their work on this case. We ask that members of the public share any information that would assist us in this investigation, and we encourage them to please report to the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI or tips.fbi.gov. Any piece of information could be crucial. We ask that you keep the victims of this tragedy, their families, and the...
Oh, I'll forgive you if you trespass. But you murder my family. I don't think that falls under trespasses. That's a little more severe.
Entire community in your prayers. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The Michigan State Police continues to respond to several locations throughout the community as we receive additional bomb threats at other locations. Please continue to stay vigilant, and if you see something suspicious, say something. Call the FBI tip line or call 911 to report suspicious activity. This incident is an active investigation. Investigators are tirelessly combing through evidence under difficult circumstances and working to identify each victim as quickly and accurately as possible. The Family Assistance Center will be open from 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. Monday and Tuesday at the Genesis Conference and Banquet Center at 805 Health Park Boulevard in Grand Blanc. If you are still looking for missing family members related to this incident, you may call 248-705.
Yes, apparently they were getting them boom threats sent to other locations. And, you know, that's crazy when something so traumatic happens and then you got a bunch of other crazy people, you know, taking away what's going on. And, you know, because they need the police and all them first responders there. Then they're having to dispatch police to other locations because people are making these crazy threats just for some attention or to cause chaos.
7352 for assistance. The FAC is available to everyone in the community, victims, family members of victims, and community members seeking support who just want to talk. Trained counselors and victim services will be on site. We do not need volunteer counselors at this time, and we are not accepting donations of goods at this time. Please continue to monitor the Grand Blanc Township Facebook page for the latest updates. Once verified donation centers are made public, we will put those on the Facebook page. Also, the next update will be provided, update time will be provided on that Facebook page. And we'll open up to questions this time.
Chief, has the church been cleared?
I see a Confederate flag. I just seen 2 American flags on the back of his truck. That was it. He had just 2 American flags, from my understanding, that I seen.
Bodies and victims. And if you could answer at the podium, please.
So as I said, we're working around the clock now. So we're working tirelessly to find additional bodies. So to answer your question, the entire church has not been cleared because it's a total loss due to the fire. So these first responders right now, they're in recovery mode. They're trying to fight through all the debris from the fire. So no, we have not cleared the entire church just yet.
And I have a quick follow-up. Of the victims, the 4 dead, can you say how many were shot or how many died as a result of the fire?
I could say this, 2 have been shot as a result, or have been shot, 2 of the deceased.
Do you know how many people are unaccounted for?
No, I don't know how many people are unaccounted for at this time. We do know that there are some that are unaccounted for.
Do you, can you
Not good.
How the fire started at the church?
I will leave that up to the ATF Agent Deere.
The question again?
How did the fire start in the church?
For this incident, the fire started, basically the suspect, all indications on this investigation are the suspect used an accelerant of some sort, we believe gasoline, and lit the church on fire.
Was it an IED that he may have used?
There are, at this point, I'm not going to comment on IEDs. I will confirm that there were some suspected explosive devices that were located. But as far as using them to initiate the blaze, I can't say that. This scene is actively being investigated by ATF. Most people don't know that ATF is the federal arson police. And we have a team from across the country coming in, our national response team. It is a cadre of expert fire investigators that are coming here from across the country to investigate this scene and get to the cause or the origin and cause of this fire.
Lieutenant Butler, we saw that there was possibly a bomb threat at the Meyer on Atherton and Center yesterday. Is that connected to this? And is the home that we saw being searched over there the home of the suspect?
Yeah, that's all still part of the investigation. Sorry, that is still all part of the investigation. We're still working to determine if any of that is related.
Can we speak to the motive? We're hearing speculations that it might have anything to do with the Charlie Kirk assassination in Utah.
That's exactly what it is, a speculation, and we won't come to those types of conclusions for some time.
Do you know if there's any connection between the suspect and the church or its members, any prior connection?
Again, part of the investigation, we're not going to speculate at this time. Right now, we are working tirelessly to recover the victims of this incident and reunite families. Please be patient as we work through that process.
Were the law enforcement officers there close to the scene and how they were able to respond so quickly within just seconds?
Thankfully, yes.
You mentioned there were additional bomb threats. Is there anywhere that the community should be aware of or stay safe from?
The community should remain vigilant, and anytime they see something suspicious, they should report it immediately.
There's at least one other report that a local church was searched by the bomb squad.
We've searched multiple churches this evening for bomb threat protocol, yes.
Is that based on actual threats?
Yes.
Okay.
We received 911 calls about bomb threats or other indications that there was a bomb at a different location. Some of them were churches, and we've responded and cleared those locations.
Did those threats come after the suspect was killed at the church?
He was definitely a hunter, okay, an avid hunter. Most of his pictures were him with shooting bucks, and he had a hawk. And so, yeah, he's definitely an outdoorsman and former vet. So, I mean, we don't know what kind of combat right now. I don't, of what he's seen or what has triggered him. But it's basically almost the same thing we were talking about in North Carolina, Southport, North Carolina, in that shooting, that, you know, these vets, they go to war and we screw up their minds, right? Or I ain't going to say we, but I'm saying the country, the things they see F ups their mind. And then when they come back, they're not getting the proper treatment. And in the last 2 days, we've seen 2 veterans open fire in crowds of people. That shows you something in the system is broken, and we need to do a better job with our veterans and their health care to make sure that these things don't happen. And if you come back from the military and you are having these problems, we got to make sure that we get weapons out of the hands of people like this. Now, listen, I'm all against, like, you know, don't take our weapons, right? I believe people have the right to bear arms, absolutely, 100%. If you're in good mental health standing, okay, we don't want crazy people with guns in this country. Now, some people be like, well, if you take their guns, next they'll come for yours. That's not the case. We just got to do a better job in whole, especially if you have a family member that's a veteran and they start acting a little bizarre and you got weapons in the house. That stuff needs to be reported to the VA and up in command so that possibly they could get those weapons away from that person, or at least get those weapons and lock them up to where they don't have access to those weapons would probably be the best, because, you know, this ain't the last time we're going to hear about a veteran going crazy and doing something. Okay.
Yes.
Was there an officer at the church already?
I think that's part of the investigation. Do you have a comment on it?
Were those LDS churches where the bomb threats were, or were there other denominations?
I can't.
Can that speak to a motive?
Yeah, I can't answer that at this time, but.
What else can we say about the suspect? You know, you're not going to talk about motive, yes, but what else can we say? Anything about him at all?
Right now, what we'd like to do is talk about the heroism that we saw today. The people who responded in such a valiant way to protect the others, both law enforcement, fire department, EMS. Everybody did an excellent job working together to keep people as safe as they possibly could.
We stopped by Holy Family Catholic Church, and there was a heavy police presence there. Is this at all connected to one of those bomb threats that you're mentioning? Is it potentially connected to the incident today at the LDS Church?
I don't have knowledge of that exact location. Okay. That's going to be all for questions. I thank you for coming and appreciate the assistance.
Can we get your name again, please?
Sure. Yep. I'm Specialist Lieutenant.
Aaron, I don't know what you're talking about. I remember you saying clearly about Seth Rogers and Chris, don't bring a knife to a gunfight, LOL. That's actually a song by Norma Jean, the band. It's like bringing a knife to a gunfight. But if you're not mentally solid, you shouldn't have firearms. Okay, I don't care if you're Chris Proudfoot, Seth Rogers, Mother Goose. Okay, if you're not mentally